Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Finally, it's here. Series 3, we're in Scotland. It doesn't look like it much at the moment. We're sat roughly in the location of Glasgow Central Station. Just over in the distance is Cambuslang. Yes, pronunciations with Scottish towns. I'll give it my best shot. I'll more than likely need your help, especially those that live around here. I have tried to do a little bit of research. Unfortunately, I've got a few wrong already, but that should be entertaining throughout the series. So first off, thank you for your patience since the last one. For me, I've been busy. I've been pretty much working on starting this new series since the last one finished. This is where we'll be starting. It's a bit of a build. I picked the hardest first, pretty much, as far as trying to get it close to realistic as possible. And we'll take a look at Cambuslang very, very shortly. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to start off with limited-ish mods. I say limited, it's 170 so far, with about the same again waiting in the wings. The reason I'm doing that early on is because we just need infrastructure to start with, mainly, rather than vehicles. Vehicles will be coming, and in various forms. Sometimes we'll have steam running here, sometimes we'll have early diesel, and then we'll have modern as well. The layout will be the modern layout, which, thanks to Oswyn, this is his map, it's absolutely wonderful. These dark grey lines you can see is the current layout, so we've got a little bit of a helper to keep things moving. These lighter marks that you can see on the map are where the stations are. Funnily enough, Cambuslang wasn't on there. It is now. So here it is, Cambuslang. I've got a new toy that may be useful. Since I'll be referencing real life maps for this build, as we're going to recreate as faithfully as possible with some compromises that are going to need to be had, as we don't have every mod available to achieve what we need to achieve. But yes, there you go. This is where we are currently. This is what I use for reference. This is Google Maps. I do have OpenStreetMaps available to me as well for rail layouts. We'll switch back. There you go. It's close-ish, isn't it? It's not too bad. We can flick between the two. I do have this as well, little mini-map. I'm not sure how that will come across. I would imagine on a phone, not too great. But yes, it all shows you what I'm actually looking at and referencing. And what we'll do is hopefully look between the two. This isn't the correct street layout over here. This is a little more accurate, heading up to, can't remember the name of the station. Oh, I guess I could have a look on the map, couldn't I? There you go, Kirkhill. That's what that is. You can see the roads are not a million miles off. There we go. But we're going to have to abbreviate, aren't we? Because we're about half scale. So yes, that's the plan going forward. As for artistic license, there is no Woolworths just here. And I don't think there's a railway pub just here either. But I love them and I love the assets. And we just need to make it feel Scottish. Not that Woolworths is primarily Scottish, of course, or existing anymore. As long as it feels UK-ish and the road layouts are very similar to the towns, even if it's only the main roads more than the back streets, then I think we'll have a good time of it, and eventually it's going to look the part. That's the plan. I'm looking forward to the cab rides, the detailing. It's going to be a long journey, guys. I know I said this will more than likely be a shorter series. The more I look at the size of this map and what's ahead of us, unlikely. I think I say it at the beginning of every series. But anyway, yes, we're going to give it my best. I'll try and leave some of the detailing and concentrate on just trackside stuff for cab rides, so that we can go and take a look at areas you guys have done at the end of the series, probably closer to halfway through the next series. And for those that can play this map, it will be available, the save game, on the Steam Workshop along with the mod collection. It's not ready yet. We're going to get settled in first and get building and make sure everything's working. Once I'm happy with everything's working, then I'll share the collection with you and the save game, because the last thing I want to do is supply something that crashes all the time. Hopefully that won't be the case. So yes, that's the mod situation. We don't have every single mod available in the world that is Scottish and correct. So we're gonna have to compromise there. We do have some trains with, I believe the term is cursed liveries, for trains that would never wear it, but will wear it for on our map, because we need something to be running on here and not all the same train. And if eventually the mod becomes available, we'll add them. Like I said, we've got 170 mods to start with and more in the wings, and we'll go from there. So yeah, what do you think to Cambuslang Station? It's not a bad abbreviation or effort, is it? It's the sort of thing we're going to be doing throughout this series. Currently it's just here. I did have it running and testing just with a small station up there, and even with minimal detailing it looks great. Just to give you an idea of scale, guys, this is what we've got ahead of us. This is Glasgow, and then we've got the coast all the way over here, which is the west coast, and then if we head the other way, Cambuslang there, Glasgow Central there, and all the way over here is Edinburgh. So there we go. Lots to do. Coast to coast, almost. We've also got a bit of the, I would imagine, the East Coast main line and the West Coast main line. So that'll be kind of cool to put in. This section that we're going to be working on today, we're just going to do our best, make it look similar. What I'll be doing throughout this series to try and keep it moving is I'll be doing a lot of work behind the scenes on repetitive things that you've already seen, such as straight bits of track, random trees at the side, distant forests. I will show you them a few times, and that just so you know what I'm doing in the background. I've thought about a time lapse, but I'm not sure on it yet. It adds to the production time, and there's already going to be a lot of time involved in this, as you can see. So yes, Glasgow Central. This is the monstrous mess we've got to attempt. This junction is about 20, I think it is limited to 20 miles an hour going over the River Clyde there. And we're going to be as close as possible recreating it. We should get away with it. That's the plan. So this section here is a monstrous mess of junctions in a good way. A good mess. And it heads all the way down here. This is where we're going to be heading first, and then heading off that way. Perhaps I can show it on the map. But yes, thanks to Killer Cans, we can have gantry signals, UK ones. And I do want to thank, before we get going, everybody in the modding community for making this series look the part before we've even got going, because the mods are just going to really do it justice. And there are some amazing mods that I can't wait to show you once we get to that phase. Well, the station mods for a start, and the signals are lovely. If we head back to the map, there's Glasgow Central. I'll zoom in as much as I can. That's my sluggish internet. We're going to do it justice, but it's definitely not going to be accurate because of curved platforms. And the only curved fake platforms are not with the British platforms. So I would rather just do straight platforms and just do the curvy bits separately. Yeah, that's the way we were looking. And we've got to come up here. Here's where we branch off. It goes all the way down here. We're going to have motorways, guys. They're coming. And then we head off this way. Lots to do. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to get myself set up so we can see what we're going to be building. Not up there. There we go. Reset it so it's facing north, and we'll look north as well. We're going to get these roads in. I will attempt to do this underground bit. If we zoom right in and look over there, it's going to be a little tricky. We don't have these fancy glass windows. We can't really do much to it, but we can have at least a tunnel is the way I'm going to go for it. So yes, that's the plan. So I'm going to get myself set up. Oh yes, I should show you open street maps. There we go. As you can see, here's our junction work. It's going to be quite the mission to do. We've got lots of bridge work as well and tunnel work to do. This is going to be tricky because we've got junctions over the bridge meeting the land. So we may have to compromise a little bit there and have it all bridge as much as possible wherever the junctions are, which won't quite be the same. You can see where the old railway was here. Shall we get going? Shall we place our first station? The first thing we're going to have to do, and it is a little bit on the wonk, so by on the wonk I mean it's not facing north-south, it's sort of leaning that way a little bit, so we'll have to do something about that. We are going to be a lot closer to this station. This is going in. I can't remember the name of the station. Glasgow Queen Street. There we go. I looked it up for us. For important things like station buildings, I think it's fine to go a little overboard with the size. We don't want to go too close to this. We can obviously shift Queen Street, I think that's what it was called, up a little bit to account for Glasgow Central being humongous. So yeah, that's probably what we're going to do. I'm going to raise it up a little more. That's not raising it, that's rotating. And what we can do is just go out something like that and see what sort of height we've got for our bridge work. And of course for our road underneath, which is going to be somewhere across there. Also, I figured out, do you remember the strange slopes we had before in my previous series? I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was going on. Well, it was a mod setting, which I've now changed. This is possibly a bit high. We'll have to see once it's all in. We can lower it down a little bit if it's way too high. There is a road going under here, so we're going to put that in. Now, thankfully, we have new roads to play with. Sparky's road mod. And there's one in here that is almost identical to how it goes across. It runs across. And I would like it a bit higher, so this might be perfect height, because we need to get a distinct difference between river and the side here, and we can always do a little bit of work afterwards. And we don't need it too close either, it's just got to go across something like that and straight. What we might need to do is actually draw it this way first, then draw it that way. There we go. Yeah, I need to work on this slope thing. If we put it in like that, that's a good start. Will that give us a better slope? I can probably adjust it further, to be fair, this slope here, and have it quite acute. Which would be lovely. We can hide it, though, with bridge tools. Okay. Is that a good start? I think it is. We're going to have two stations, separate ones, and then they'll be connected via their street. The station building, or buildings, are going to take up the most room. Well, there we go. Guys, we're done. No, we're not. Shall we get going with a bit of a station then? So we've got some fantastic buildings in here. We're going to be using the UK style. Now, there's a little bit of a glitch with these, which is unavoidable. It is the King's Cross style. But what we can't do... high speed. What we can't do is have any of the lovely UK tracks that we've got from Killicans, because it's not his mod that affects it. It's just in general, any custom tracks make these platforms wet concrete, which is not good. That ruins it completely. So I've got to remember that. Unfortunately, Cambuslang has got that issue. It's okay, guys. We'll get it sorted by the end. Right. I guess this is going to be the leading platform, isn't it? Do we want the main building? No, we can probably build it ourselves, can't we? We may as well add as many tracks in as possible that we're going to use, so we can get a rough idea where this is going to sit. If we do it that way round and have this central, we can raise the ground up with us. In fact, I don't like that idea. I believe having it pre-settled saves some of the issues you get with terraforming. The game tries to do itself and never gets right. Rarely gets right, I should say. Right, we need 7 platforms. These 7 tracks and platforms are pretty much like this, so it does work for me. I'm going to go down here a little bit. There is a curve to it, and we're just going to have to ignore that and unfortunately wait until there is actual curved station support. I'm just trying to figure out if I can fit the second station building in. Let's get it in. Right, there we go. We are getting charged, but technically it's not counted. As you can see, I've changed it to pounds as well. Let's configure this. We've got so many toys to play with. And we've got elevated as well, should we need to do that, although they won't be British. And we can't use any of these for our station. We're going to have to rely solely on the default tracks, unless Killercans, of course, brings out a version of his tracks that change the default ones, which would be kind of cool. Let's get this all the way to where we want it. That might be too far. No, that'll be fine. We're going to have to improvise, aren't we? So we'll get this all the way back. We'll get our passenger platforms in. It should be... Are these the ones? They're not the ones. I don't know what they are. Oh no, we need King's Cross and then these. Yes, it's been a while. Like a whole day. And my memory is fantastic, as you all know. Right, let's get these in. It's not King's Cross we're building, but Glasgow Central. As long as it feels UK-ish, that'll do me quite nicely. We technically need this to be a terminus at the end. So in order to do that, we need passenger building. And we need the old-fashioned one. I've got a whole selection of mods here. It is kind of big and chunky. It doesn't have this bit at the front, which is a little bit frustrating. I don't know if there's any way to get rid of that. It would be nice if we could not have the connection there. It's a little unfortunate. Perhaps we can improvise a little bit with small stations and then build on top of them. It's also unfortunate that it's using the wrong platform. That's kind of awkward, isn't it? Do we have passenger buildings here? What would these put in? Because we might be able to make it work. I don't want to put like King's Cross in, even though that's probably a little better streetwise. I don't know why it's using the wrong platform there. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I might have used the wrong station. I don't think so. See, what we could do is have these there and hopefully there as well. I wonder if we can get the platforms to be the correct ones. I'm not going to dwell on it though, because it seems a bit silly. Well, maybe. It's got little paths down, hasn't it? So it doesn't matter. I think we'll accept it. I mean, it's got the steps. It's not quite working correctly. This is not how I would have it. So I made a decision. We may as well go with the King's Cross style, and we can use the old, I think. Just little ramps up like this along the edge, and then we'll build it manually from there. I think this works for me. Yeah, step up, step up. That's fine, isn't it? That'll do. And like I said, we've got an issue with how far we can go here and how bendy we can get, which is a little unfortunate. So we're going to have probably shorter trains. We do have a curved station. It doesn't work as intended, and it doesn't work with the UK platforms. So this is where compromises have to happen. You can see already where a curved station would be absolutely amazing. We're going to have to do something like this, I think, and have these two platforms as our main platforms. Perhaps we're at a bit too much of an angle. Possibly. This is where you wish that you could just pick all this up, but I'll rebuild it at a better angle. Now I've got an idea what's happening. Alright, I think that's a lot better, don't you? That's a better angle. It's not quite as wonky. Lovely. We're there, guys. We're there. Right, we're going to double up on some of these platforms then. Especially down here where we meet the... do we need a second station? Do you know, I'm not entirely convinced now. If we can build this, although it does lean out the other way, we're only going to be improvising, aren't we? If we can have a double platform, something like that. And... or do we even need the double platform? No, because We're supposed to be abbreviating Grant, and you're trying to recreate it faithfully in half the space. The interesting thing about Transport Fever 2, which is... Don't delete the whole thing. Which has always been the case, is... Oh yes, we could have it start down there. I changed my mind on that bit. Because it is a little further down. Yes, the interesting thing about Transport Fever 2 is that, firstly, it doesn't remember where you scrolled on each menu. But it also keeps everything... If you scale down a map, unfortunately, all the models are technically true to life. Yeah. So you have a little bit of an issue there. As in, you're working in half the space with full-size models. It's okay, we'll make it work. We will need something like this. I don't know. We can have bridges over. We could possibly make it work. I think we're going to have bridging over, so we can do something like this instead. And then we can have a double platform like there. Is that how that goes? No. What have you done there? Yes. Well, kind of. No, in fact, it does pretty much go like that, except you don't have a platform in the middle. You'd have another track, so it would be something like this instead. We'll take a look at the map once we've finished playing with it. This would be here, and then you'd have... This is where we need to compromise again, so we'll get rid of that. We'll put this... Not that. I keep thinking they're the tracks. Right, scroll all the way to the end again. We'll put that like that. That would make more sense to me. Especially what we're dealing with. That's going to have to go all the way up there. Now, we've got a short and then a long platform. How we represent that's going to be a little bit tricky. We'll have one there and one there. This will be the short platform, which will be down there. Meaning we've got a whole bunch of platforms put in here to hook it all up. This is just a rough layout, guys. We may need to expand, wiggle around here, maybe take that a little closer. These don't quite do what I want them to do, but it's close enough is what I'll say. Right, that's going all the way down to there. And then we might be able to get away with doing this. This would be back here. It would be nice if there was nothing on these, but we'll take it. I don't know whether you can get a blank one, but we can always edit it later if there are tricks you know of to get rid of all the posts and stuff. Because this one would technically be back there, like that. There we go. I like it. And we'll get rid of this bit of platform up here. Not required. In fact, we could maybe go all the way back to there. Yes. And then we can have a side entrance up here, you see. I like it so far. What I need to do is get us like an entrance up here. There we go. Cut it off at this end. Yeah, can we do that? Oh, that's interesting. Not really what I wanted. What's going on there, game? Why are you putting these out here? That's weird. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, is it that one, perhaps? Because it wasn't doing it, and then it was. That was interesting, wasn't it? Now, is it that one that's touching? It might have been. Because if you do it there, it's only when you put it in there. Gotcha. In that case, we might want to do something like that. No. And then leave that one alone. Yeah, because we can have an invisible bit under here, can't we? To make all of this work. Perfect. Right. I did not go into this much detail when I created my test piece. So this is all new to me. We're going to go all the way up there. This is the longer platform. That starts a little further back. I think we can go with... Is it the middle one? Yeah, this is the long platform just here. And these are actually a little further back, which is good news because... Ooh, don't delete it all. It's good news because we need the room up here to make the curves. I think that's a lot better. Something like that. And this is good. Yes, we may need to move that back. Yeah, that's a little better. That gives us a lot of room to play with. I like it. I like it. We don't need that and that, I don't think. We're going to have to build most of our junctions on the bridge itself, so it's going to be tricky regardless. This comes down like that. And then this is going to be track. We may need to adjust all of this, of course. It's going to be a bit of an empty shell to start with. I think it's working, though. We can put an outside platform. Can we put an outside? Well, there we go. There's the answer to that. We can't go any further out here. So we just managed to squeeze it in. Do we have enough tracks? That's the question. Well, we have 13 of the 15. Should we accept that? Or perhaps I can move this along one. Like all of this along one. Because I think we can get like another one in here. But I'd rather do that in between episodes. And do I want to do that? I mean, it wouldn't be too difficult to achieve, would it? No, this would just become that one. Depends how far over here. Do we need all platforms? It sort of would be nice, wouldn't it? Which would mean... Let's go to tracks. Let's just see if we can do it. What a monstrous build this is for the first episode. I could have picked something a little easier. No, Grand. Punishment. You've started it now. So you're going to do it. So this is looking... good. It looks like we can possibly go all the way across. Yeah, it's given us another track we can put in. Well, that's it. We've moved, what, 2 across? That should give us the 15. Oh, that'll be good news if we can achieve this. There we go. This will be this one. How many do we have now? Do we have the 15 tracks? Oh, it should say here, terminals. 14. Would that be right? Oh yes, because we don't have an outside platform, which there is. So how do we achieve that? How many more can we fit this side? That's the question. This is the headaches you can go through too in a recreation. It's going to be a monstrous build. I'm pretty happy with it being this big. We do want... It depends if we can go. Well, don't build it all. Let's see if we can fit this in. And then that's it. We've got the full thing going on. Perfect. It gives us a little bit more room, doesn't it? Yeah, we can make that work. Always excited now, guys. We have an excite. Are you excited? It looks like it's going to work for us. It's an absolute ginormous station, obviously. It's Glasgow Central. It is a ginormous station. So that means we can go all the way down to here and all the way down to there. Then we can get our platforms in, back again. Perfect. Now we're going to move this along like ridiculous amounts, but that's fine. In fact, it works way better. Okay. All I've got to do now is shift this all across, add a platform there, and then we'll be good to go. It's a monster at the moment. I think we have it. What do you reckon? Good start. I mean, it's a bit bare at the moment, but we just need the infrastructure. We're definitely going to need to move this across, aren't we? I don't think that's going to work sat just there at all. No. A little unfortunate. We will make it work, though. Doesn't really matter getting a little closer to the river, does it? Of course it doesn't. Let's get back to roads. Find this fancy road we got. Raise it up a couple. There we go. That should work. Then we'll go like that. It is pretty much straight across from there. And get rid of that section. Yes, that should work. We'll see. I'm going to save it there. That was a lot of work. Guys, we have a monster station in. This is, of course, not Cambuslang. It is Glasgow Central. I'm hoping what we can do is get some station buildings over the top as assets. We can find some. It won't be great, as in they probably won't use the doors, but it does mean we should be able to go along the road, which for now we're just going to put a normal road in to give us some sort of bearing. We go something like that. In fact, if we go along, we've got a rough idea of what height we need. There we go. Something like that should do. We're going to be a little further away than that, and we're going to have some buildings in between. We may need some fake roads. What I might do is just see how far we can extend that, if possible. We might be able to put an extra platform in. We'll see. It's all going to be hidden underneath. We could add these sorts of roads and lock them and see how that does. It won't be ideal, but we should get it close, I think. Let's pretend this is going up here. Not the correct roads at the moment. We're just going to get a rough idea of what we're doing. There we go. We do have road bridges going across. We have rail bridges going across. It might be a little bit too high, but I've got to try and somehow get that other road going underneath, which could be a little bit tricky. Right, can we get over here? These three are pretty much the main ones for the bridge to start with on this side. So if we get our tracks, and we can finally use these from Killer Cans. I did save it, didn't I? Yes, you did. So this needs to go over here. I know, it's going to be a bit ridiculously high. It's probably not too bad. I don't know why we've got a collision. That's a bit bizarre. We may need to go straight like that over there. Oh, that's a bit broken, isn't it? We won't be using those anyway. They're close to one of these up here. Is it those? Not those. I'm pretty sure it's got like a red accent. Or the original one did anyway. And then we can change it as necessary. It's almost like that. We need the red one. Where's the red one? We've got orange. Is it up here? We really need it without feet as well. I thought this came with no feet version. I can't remember now. No. Don't think it does it? It's a little unfortunate. They're supposed to be big round feet. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's pretty close. But in red. Where's the red one? Now, it's like this one, but it's red. And I don't think we have a red version of this, unfortunately. Let me switch over to the map and show you what I'm looking at. You see? It's almost, isn't it? We've got the green accent, but not the red. Now, perhaps I can see if we can extend the range. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll just go with a green version. We're a bit high, perhaps. I'm going to go with green. We are meeting the ground up here. I can't remember if we've got to be above or below. I mean, up this end, because we're so far back, we'd have to sink this down. Then I'm not sure whether we could get anything underneath. To be fair, I'm still not sure whether we can fit anything underneath. Now, if we did this and went like that, will we go underneath? Oh, okay. We'll go underneath. Just about, probably. Well, actually, it's quite a distance, isn't it? Do you know what's going to have to happen? You know it. Yeah, we're going to have to lower that, aren't we? Oh, move it. What would give for that? Am I right? I thought we'd been fine with that. The problem with this is it's fine detail as far as height goes. I mean, I'm sort of happy with it, to be fair. I guess what we should do is figure out if we can actually build the bridge over there and figure out the junctions. One thing we can't do is get any of the fancy stuff in, like the curved platforms, but that's okay. We'll make this work. I do want to finish with at least the bridging. Luckily, this one does go like that. And we're going to go without our normal, or the selected bridge that we've got. Which, what did we choose? It was the green version of the red one we need, because there is no red version. It was something like that. Yeah, it's quite low when you have it like that. And that is possibly closer to it anyway. And we'll just go straight across. Same with this one. Could you remember that? I don't know whether this will work, but we'll try it. There. That should do that. And then we'll do the same over here, hopefully. And get that connected up like so. Yeah, it's going to be tricky anyway, isn't it? I like that we've got the feet all balanced and leveled up there. We may need the tracks in between at some point. This does feel like it should curve round a little more just before it turns into a bridge. It's a shame we can't... Don't do that. It's a shame we can't do something like that to straighten it out. Oh, that's better, isn't it? Because we've turned it to ground there. Yes! That might be better. We don't want it fast because it's a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. I don't want it too slow either. There, if we go across something like that, can we do it? Yes, just there. And can we use this bridge? I think so. And there. Perfect. Now we need this other bridge to do the same thing and be next to it. Like that. But we need to go straight. and then hopefully connect, which is going to be the tricky part. So if we delete this back, and perhaps if we can get our terrain tools here and level this out, we've got a bit of a platform to work with, like that. And then we get that round. 35 is absolutely fine. This should then be straight over here. So that's one section of the bridge. Then we've got kind of a little bit of a gap, which is what we should have. And I'm going to say it's probably about 2 tracks wide. Who remembers this from the Midlands days? I know, the build is a bit beefy to get us going. No easy start for me. Why not start with something crazy? Okay, this might work. I would like it to be straight and then connect. There we go. If we do that, take that out, and then we want 4 tracks worth over here to connect all those other lines to. With a, is there a gap? Not really a gap. I think it's just going to be straight 4 lines on the other side, like that. Yes, don't do that. I will need to save it. We are going to make it one big old bridge eventually. Currently, on Google Maps at Street View, you can't see anything with the bridge, so I'm going to have to improvise, and the only footage I've got, cab rides, is quite old. Now, as long as this goes into the... No, of course you don't. Why would you? Too much curve. But it's 20 miles an hour, it's exactly the right speed. I guess we're going to have to take that back. That's unfortunate, isn't it? Did I just delete the road? That's even more unfortunate. Yeah, we're going to have to take that back just a little bit more. Probably there should be enough. That might do us. We have to be really careful with this. Oh, still, really? I think it needs to be 25 miles an hour, doesn't it? I would really like these to be separated perfectly. We can go over the road a little bit. So then can we go from there? Yeah, but not with a bridge. Not with a bridge. I'm doing all this to show you what I'll be going through, even though I'm probably going to lower this. There's not much room, to be fair. But over the... we can lower this as well. And over the river, it's really close to the river. Probably a little closer than that. I'm just trying to figure out what we need to achieve here. I'd really like you to be all road there, so we'd have to get rid of this and then put it back in, but it might give us a little bit closer of a platform to... Ah, there we go. Yes, guys, I think I have the idea. I'm showing you the thought process before we actually go ahead and do it, ready for the next episode. I don't know what's going on there. That's awesome. It's like a couple of quote marks, isn't it? Wonderful. Right, that's got to go that way. That will be going pretty much all the way up there, like that. And then we've got loads of junction work to do up here. This isn't the correct junction work. This is just roughly how it's going to go. Something like that, and then like that. Just so we can get a rough idea. There's no cab ride today, obviously. We don't have a track. But this does look to be working. Right. Not the correct junction layout. Now, can we build junctions over without it breaking underneath before I do all of this re-leveling? We can, which is absolute amazing news. And is it breaking it underneath? It's not, guys. Guys, we may be able to do this. Which makes me all sorts of excited. Right. I should show you quickly before we finish what sort of roofs we have to play with. We do have a few. I'm hoping they work. Is it the MISC they're under? There you go. We've got Hull and Manchester. I don't know whether they work on here. That just crashed. Not that it matters because I've got to delete it and start again and lower it a bit. But I'll do that painful stuff. Oh, it does work. Guys. Guys. I think we're in. Will this work? I think it will. Right, we don't want it like that though, on this side. Perhaps we can figure out a way to get that all matching, but yeah, it doesn't look too bad, does it? It gets a bit higher, so we'd have to figure something out there. perhaps not using this end platform might be the best idea. Something like that, maybe. Does that work? It's because that's a single track, isn't it? That's a little awkward. And if you go from there, it makes it bigger, taller. We could have a little building, or a main big building like that. Oh, yeah, that will kind of work. I think we can get away with it. That's how it's supposed to be. But because of the... Oh, I wonder if just putting a track up there would help with the drawing of this. Every time I click on these, there's like a horrible loading pause. Let's see what whole... Ooh, that's fancy. It's not what we need. We need something like platform 9 3/4. Not that. We need it to go the other way, ideally. For this building down here, it needs to go crossway. I don't think we've got any that go crossways. Not even in King's Cross. King's Crossways. Do these go the right way around? Ooh, they do. They do. Would have to do something bizarre, though. Yeah, I would need to rework this anyway, but that might get us pretty close to what we need. Let's go down a little bit further. Does the old... No, the new version's the one we want. And can we just go straight across? We can. Which is pretty accurate. It's not ideal, but do you get the idea? Where we're heading with this? I mean, we'd have to do some fancies with it. It's not spot on. Let's go take a look at the map. Well, I just noticed it does do the cross one, doesn't it? Let's just flick between the two. They're not quite lined up right. We might be able to get away with this. It's not bad. Perhaps we can find a better glass roof rather than Manchester's. Not that Manchester's roof is terrible. We just need something similar. I mean, what do you reckon, guys? I'm happy with that. There we go. There's our temporary build. Ignore what's going on over here. This bridge is almost perfect. Except it's not in red. I think we can get the junction work done. This is not how the junction is going to look. But it doesn't matter. As long as we can get everything we need to cross over all the tracks and they're as accurate as possible. Hopefully we can fit all of the work on there as well. Glasgow Central, guys. Our first draft. As with Birmingham New Street. Who remembers that? We might rebuild this about 8,000 times. The initial bit's going to get the height. That's what we've got to work on. There we go. That was a build. That was a build and a half. Yes, it's a bit plain at the moment. But we've got to start somewhere, right? Drop a comment below. I'll make 2 saves. I'll save this one as is. And I'll also do one where it's lower. And then perhaps we can decide on what's better. Which means, regardless of which one we choose, when we come back for episode 2, we're going to start making our way over here. And I believe, looking at it, being a bit lower might help. It depends if there are bridges. Well, this might work anyway. We might need the height. So this might be the build. This might be the build. Glasgow Central. We just need to figure out what to do with this side. I'll find a roof that works. We've got a little bit that carries on there. So that I'm excited about. Right, no cab ride. Or is there? Well, we could sit on a bus and watch the silly lane changing that Urban might even fix in the summer. Who knows? It would be great, wouldn't it? So yes, there we go. Should we get actually in it? What are we on? The top floor? I mean, as much as I like the top floor, I think I'd prefer to be down here. So we can see the door open. And just go around. We're sat in the parcel bag. That's not good, is it? Well, we can pretend we're kids. Guys, thank you for joining me on a slow-paced, slow-starting episode 1. If we can get this cornerstone in of Glasgow Central and be happy with it and the height, I can then go away, build the roads around it. I'll show you how you add the towns if you don't know, and the new toys we've got to limit the population. So I'll leave you with the tiniest bus ride in the world, And I'll see you on Thursday. It's going to be Thursday and Sundays again for eternity, no doubt. How long is it going to take? How many episodes? Let's see in the comments. For me to actually connect, not just with a straight piece of track, with the actual junction work and track layout to Cambuslang from Glasgow Central. My money's on episode 3, I think we'll be there. Just a bit. I'm tempted to 4. Anyway, guys, until next time, take care.